West Virginia's 7th. So if you go all games, they're running at a higher clip than West Virginia is.
Well, that's not good.
No, you better stop the run. But now the flip side is if you can slow their running game down and force them into passing, and we'll talk about this again tomorrow, get them in passing downs, you should be able to get some pressure on Emory Jones, and chances are that a pick or two is coming from you. But you better slow that run down, and teams have had trouble doing that.
Fair to say that the boxes on both sides will be filled to capacity?
It has to, because both teams have to do the same thing. Yeah. And I think you're right. I know everybody's going to lose their mind. We're probably getting 5 texts in here saying, stop talking up a team that's won one conference game, blah, 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 blah. I've got some concerns here because games are about matchups more than anything else. And the fact that Cincinnati has not quit and was able to get that win over Cincinnati or over Houston, they come in here. I'm with you. They come in here and say, okay, finish strong. This is our last game. This is our bowl game. We're not going anywhere else. I think you're going to have to play. This isn't – West Virginia has shown you they don't have the ability to walk in, just show up and beat people. I think they're going to have to come out and play, and this matchup is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Back to basketball. Texter, is it going to be hard to pull Kobe out and replace him with Kerr? Kobe looks solid. What's the word on Regab? Is he eligible or just not up to speed? So Kerr Carissa will take over at the point when his eligibility is restored after his 9-game sit-out. And as far as Ali Regab, he has not played yet. Really, I mean, he was brought in as a practice player. He was brought in as a practice player, as a big body that could physically, bang into Jesse Edwards on a day-to-day basis. Potentially, could he go out there on the floor? I mean, yeah, he's eligible to go, but at this point, that hasn't happened yet.
I would think there's just, never mind point guard, off guard, 1 or 2. There's some guard minutes there for Kobe Johnson, too, once Kerr Carissa comes back.
Sure.
Now, you have to be a little bit careful because you need to have somebody that's available if foul trouble comes for Carissa. But my gut tells me there you can play both those guys at the same time, and I'm sure you will as the season moves on.
Big 12 basketball tonight. We've got 2 teams in action. Texas, 20-plus point favorite over the Rice Owls, and BYU at home will look to go to 3-0 on the season as they meet up against Southeast Louisiana. And once again, as for West Virginia, the Mountaineers return to action next Monday night when they play in Fort Myers. It's one of those deals where they'll play Monday, they're off on Tuesday, and then they will play again on Wednesday. And on the other side of that thing, it'll either be University of Virginia or the Badgers of Wisconsin. All right. Our music's on. That'll do it for us. Appreciate your time in here tonight.
Mine?
What about our producer over there? Adriana.
Outstanding.
I mean, 5
Rising star.
5 star.
Yeah, rising star.
Yeah. Adriana Lenhart, our producer this evening, 5 star. Does a fantastic job. All right, we're out. Back again tomorrow night, 6:06 for the CityNet Statewide Sports Line. Stay well, and we'll see you.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sports Line is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.
104.7 FM, WVRC, Spencer.
Since 2019, DW Excavating has been serving Roane and surrounding counties. We offer services including, but not limited to, repairing driveways, construction site preparation, drainage solutions, property brush clearing, farm road construction, culvert repair and installation, and utility line installation and repair. We provide free estimates. Check out our Facebook page or contact us at 304-532-2968 for more information. DW Excavating, taking pride in our work and in our community. DW Excavating is a proud supporter of all Roane County High School athletics. Go Raiders!
Good Wednesday evening, the 15th of November.
And this is the final countdown, the final version of the Raider Review for 2023. Yeah, go ahead and get it in, guys. This is Andrew Miller, John Penna with us, and we're joined in studio by Roane County High School Athletic Director and all-around good guy, Toby Ford.
Thank you.
Yeah. I figured that I could give you even a better what do you call those things? Introduction?
Yeah.
But all-around good guys encompassing. Is that not correct, John?
All around. All around. Up and down, around. Like all good things.
Got to thank our sponsor, DW Excavating. Big thank you to Doug and Angie Walker for continuing to sponsor us here. I can't remember how many. Is this the third year in a row they've sponsored us?
This is number 2 or 3.
Year 2 in a row, possibly. Maybe year 3. We're not quite sure. Let's get into that real quick. As fans of the show on the History Channel, The Curse of Oak Island. Toby, I don't know if this will be relevant to you or not.
Never seen it. Well,
okay, so it won't.
Clear your calendar for the next foreseeable future on Tuesday.
For the next 7 months.
On Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, a new episode comes out. And this is season 11 of The Curse of Oak Island. And we have been fans for quite a while. I've been watching since season 1. Our buddy Matt White and his wife have gone back now and watched since season 1. They've caught up everything. I don't know, John, have you caught up with everything?
I was in and out on the first probably 3 or 4 seasons, but I've been steady Eddie since about. I've probably not missed anything since like season 4 or 5.
So
this is season 11, you said?
Season 11 right now, just the first couple of episodes.
Have like 26 to 28.
Oh, this thing goes all the way till summertime almost.
It'll go till summer. And then there's a break for, 4 or 5 months?
A few months.
Then right back at it.
So season 11, and what the deal is there's a baby elephant-looking island in Nova Scotia up in Canada. And there's a lore or a legend that says someone buried a bunch of treasure on the island. And it's been going on now for the search for it for 295 years or something like that. And there's all sorts of things that have been found. And these 2 guys have been at it now for 11 years. They're brothers. And they got a whole bunch of people now involved. And money's coming in. And it's a really big deal. They've got equipment coming in. They're doing all sorts of stuff. And we were watching it last night, and John said, you know what's missing here? The reason that they've gone 11 seasons and have not found the treasures because they have not hired Doug Walker with DW Excavating.
There you go. So we're gonna see if we can't hook him up with the Laginas. That's what their names are. The Laginas. And just go ahead and let Doug just go up there and show these guys how it's done.
Yeah.
But it would ruin the show. It'd be over in 1 episode. Well,
we're wanting.
Listen, we've been at it for 11 seasons. We're ready to find it.
I'm ready to find some treasure, man.
I don't care. I'll go back and watch reruns. I'm ready to see the gold. There's been traces of it. Even in the water. They're testing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Dude, it's crazy.
You're going to have to come watch it.
You got to come watch at this point.
You're going to have T-shirts. I've got a T-shirt. Drew's got one. I've got a mug.
Yeah. Things are going on. The Curse of Oak Island. Get into it. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. We did just find out that Roane County's former high school boys basketball coach, Matt Brohart, is very much into it.
Yeah.
As per his wife, Carly, saying she couldn't stand it.
Is this really filmed right next to the Price is Right studio?
No, this is on site.
This is real. This is real.
And there are some... No, Joe McDonald tuning in. It's the ultimate bait and switch show. Joe, come on, man.
Joe, I thought we were.
You've got to believe. You've got to be a believer.
I always thought Oak Island was some kind of beach or something that people want.
It is. There's one.
There's a part of it that's
North
beach.
Carolina, right? There's one
in the
Carolinas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one in the Carolinas.
Yeah. And so when Cam Wilson and his family went in vacation there this past year, and he's like, I'm at Oak Island. I'm like, Nova Scotia? He's like, no.
Start digging. Start digging.
Start digging now.
Come on, dude. Tell Lindley to get down there and start digging.
No.
So if you're out there and you're watching right now and you're a fan of Oak Island, shoot us a quick message on Facebook or on YouTube and let us know. Let us know that you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, don't say a word.
Don't you call us losers.
Yeah, don't call us losers because for the last 7 years straight, every Tuesday night.
We're watching it in my main.
Yeah. So I had to get that out. So, yeah.
So we need Doug there.
Doug Walker, somebody let Doug know that he's going to have to pack up some equipment. His excavator, his backhoe, his skid steer. And he's going to head north to Nova Scotia to help them find the treasure.
We're ready to find it, Doug.
We're ready. And we need you for the treasure hunt. It is the final episode, obviously, of the Raider View for the year. You know, we always go until the Raider football team concludes their season. And obviously that happened last week, not the style that Roane County would like to have happened. But in the end, you know, I always talk about this. I say somebody is going – all but one team is going to go home empty-handed at the end of the season. The Raiders, once again, having a tremendous season. We'll talk more about that. I haven't heard from Coach Burdett. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it in here tonight because I messaged him. I said, hey, last show of the year, you got to be there. And he just messaged me back and says, EHH, yeah. And that's it.
Listen,
I know he's ready for a break.
Right. If anybody has earned some time off, it's Coach Burdett. You know, we talked about it off air a couple weeks ago, just how much he has done over the last 3 years. And not only that, then you go back to COVID and how crazy that was when we had to deal with COVID. And you know, it's been great for Raider football, but it's a very long grind, especially when Coach Burdett was coaching, assistant coach at the North-South game.
Following that, head coach
of the North-South game. On top of that, helping coach a youth flag football team. And then, you know, weightlifting and flex days are abundant now. So,
and a good thing is we went further into the playoffs the last couple of years.
Right.
It's just, it's a grind, and it's been an especially long grind. So if we do not see Coach Paul Burdett here tonight, is he coming? Is he coming? Really?
Oh, nice.
All right, good.
In a few.
Beautiful, beautiful. One last time, and then I imagine I won't see him again until the first of the year. I personally won't see him until the first of the year. But we've got some things to wrap up here about fall sports. Obviously, we've got Toby Ford in studio, and we would like to talk about fall sports, about winter sports coming up, and then we'll talk real quick about some of the spring sports stuff. But we'll get it straight from the horse's mouth here. And we'll call you the horse's mouth, not the other part of the horse. I wanted to say a very big congratulations first off. I know that a lot of times it's very hard for us to get out the information when it comes to postseason accolades because they don't come out usually before we're done with this show. Of course, we'll try to share them on Facebook and YouTube as best we can. But we do want to send a very big shout out to the young ladies from the Roane County High School Lady Raider volleyball program who earned some LKC postseason awards. Obviously, Mahaley Nicholson 3 times on the first team as a middle hitter, and congratulations to her for that and that career finishing up very, very nicely. The 3 senior captains all honored, by the way, on the list. Second teamer, you had Piper Harlan as well as Paige Blosser, and then Olivia Moorhead, the setter, earned a special honorable mention as well for the LKC team. And that's just a really cool thing, Toby, to see our youngsters compete at a high level. You know very well as I do, the LKC, when it comes to volleyball, is the premier small school conference. In fact, I went and did the state tournament between Ritchie and Williamstown, which was a rematch of the LKC championship.
Right. I'm telling you guys, volleyball especially, but the LKC, strong in everything. Just to get mentioned, because it's not just AA. Like football is just AA. So there's 3 schools there, which is still an honor to make all conference. But when you combine 16 schools,
yes,
and you get mentioned That's a great accomplishment, and my hat's off to those girls. Wonderful job.
Yeah, big congratulations, especially again those three seniors who are have really kind of taken this program. They were in as freshmen. You see Allie come in as a coach, and they rode all the way up through with her to help build this program to a program that is very dangerous year in and year out. And I know they want to take it to more heights if they can, and the cover's far from bare, obviously. But you do lose those three, a couple of other seniors as well in Raina Stenzel and Audrey Smith. But you got a lot of young ladies back next year, and so hopefully that they continue to build that program and have success in years to come. I'm happy that we've built a relationship with them to do a lot of broadcasts home and away, and that's been a big help for us and a big help, I think, for people who can't make all those trips, obviously. So a great season for the Lady Raider volleyball program, obviously, Toby. Let's talk about some of the other things that have taken place now. We didn't get a chance to talk about the finish of the fall campaign, at least, for the Lady Raider volleyball team. They were defeated in the regional co-final by Philip Barber, who ended up playing for a state championship. But they finished their season 19-19-4, a very strong season. The cheerleading squad that same day was at Lincoln High School, right? I didn't hear any finals, anything about that.
They were in the morning time, their regionals, same day as the volleyball. I think they started at 10 o'clock in the morning at Lincoln High School. And they went out and performed. Again, Region 2 cheerleading. You got Robert C. Byrd. You got Lincoln. You got who won? Lincoln won it. Robert C. Byrd got third, which was a surprise to everyone. Oh, Lewis County got second. So I would say it's probably the strongest region in the state.
And we just happen to be right there.
We happen to be honored to be in that region. Lucky for us. No, our girls did very well. They don't announce they just announce the top two.
Okay.
So I told the girls, as far as I know, you finished ahead of Robert C. Byrd.
Yeah.
So congratulations. They performed very well. We only had 7 girls doing their routine, which is we only have 8 cheerleaders total on the sideline on Friday nights, but 7 were in the competition, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
One thing I really enjoyed, I would come down there and get set up for volleyball matches, and who would be in the auxiliary gym? The cheerleading squad, and they would be repping that routine. And I was in there for probably 4 weeks straight, and every time I heard the same music going on, and they were practicing. And again, huh?
Did you learn anything? Come on.
No, I did not. I learned that I don't like trance music or whatever it is. It's now, perfect for
maybe you
routines.
Learned to count to 8, because when I was in there setting up for volleyball, I always hear Danielle counting to 8.
Maybe. In the back of my head, subliminally, I learned how to count to 8.
That's it. No, they work hard.
Yeah.
All of our athletes and everybody works hard. It's unbelievable what our kids put out. But like you said, they're in there till 6:30.
Yeah.
In the late push, and they were supposed to go tomorrow to the LKC, but unfortunately, our tumbler hurt her knee in practice, so we don't have any more tumblers. There's also a base holding people up, and
dang it.
It's just too dangerous, so we had to withdraw from the LKC.
Oh, man. So no LKC competition, but again, they'll be back in action here in a couple of weeks when we get started in basketball season. They'll be manning the sidelines for that and, continuing to do what they do. And again, it's a year-round thing, really, for the cheerleading squad. So a great fall season for them, and going up to compete with just 7 is tough enough, and congratulations to them on a great season. Cross country, although there wasn't enough, Coach, for full team scores this year for the boys team. The girls team, we've always been kind of light on people that we had, but we got a couple that are returning that have gotten themselves a little bit of name recognition throughout this year. We got a junior coming back next year in Noah Bragg, and then the freshman, Addie Taylor. Both of those were really rising in the rankings as the season progressed. And, I know that they both just barely missed out on a possible state tournament berth.
We only take the top 10. And again, we're honored to be in a great region. We really appreciate that.
Oh, the way Toby says it. We're honored to be in a great, tough region.
It's going to be different regions come after next season.
After next season, we should be in a different region. But, again, they only take the top 10 placers, and I think Addie was 15th. Is that right? And Noah was 20th?
Very, very close.
I don't remember. Somewhere. They were both close. And of course, Addie's just a freshman, and Noah's just a junior. Everybody's back. We lost Marissa on the girls, but there were 2 girls. If people are watching, and I know people are listening,
Toby's looking straight at the camera.
Cross country. Students, come run cross country. We need to get a team, not just individuals, so we can place as a team. That would be awesome.
Would love to see that.
Great plug. And not only that, but you have a lot of great runners coming back. So there's a base there.
That's right.
Speaking of Addie, you saw her today. She was running.
Of course.
So I'm at the barbershop, and she's at the red light waiting for it to change so she can cross the street. She's still chopping the feet. Noah Bragg's another one of those guys. He's in the shop often, and he loves to compete in cross country. It's probably one of his favorite things until it gets to the end of the year, and then he'll tell me that track's his favorite sport. And then at the end of track, he'll tell me that cross country.
I can't wait till cross country starts.
Yeah, but no, he trains hard as well. And it's always fun to hear them. They're excited about it, and if everybody else jumps on board, they can have a team and hopefully place in the state.
Need a situation like McFarland. You guys seen that movie? Great movie about a cross-country team in the 80s from down in the southwestern corner of California. And they built up a program out of nothing. Got to find some kids there out and about who are just hanging out and not doing any other sports, and find some kids and get them involved in some extracurriculars like that.
That's a sport we don't have in the middle school, but with the Spencer Middle School moving up there to the near Roane County High School, same campus in the next couple of years, maybe we can get one started and spark some interest there and build up.
Next year we'll get a pretty good freshman coming in, Allegra Keaton.
Yep.
She's a runner. She goes, of course she's big into wrestling as well, but she does a great job of running, and I thought she maybe did a cross country.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But it'll be a sport that's capable and available for her if she does choose to, and I imagine that she's an athletic kid and enjoys competing, so she may end up doing that. I want to say our good buddy Jason Potter, who's always watching and always tuned into the sports and stuff like that, he said you can't load up Clay Walker and take him.
I just give that fella a shovel and say get her.
Thank you very much, Coach Burdett. Says you guys are cute.
Oh, who was it last week? Oh, it was Bo Williams.
Yeah, Bo Williams. And again, I'm not on the camera, so that's a good thing. It's all you, Toby and John, so that's very cool. So we get through that, obviously. You look at the other sports in the fall season. I know that soccer was a really tough thing this year, Toby. You were in here earlier in the season covering for the aforementioned John Penna. You were mentioning at that time we hadn't had a team together yet. You finally got one together, but it was kind of late in the season. And, again, they competed as best they could, though.
Sure. Again, they play hard. They train hard. You're at a disadvantage already, though, when you're co-ed and you got to play a boys' schedule. Unfortunately, that's just the way that is. I would love to have a girls' team and a boys' team. That would be awesome. Or one or the other or whatever. But for what we do, they play hard, and that's just they play hard and they go out and play, and then we got to have 7 games, I think, got 7 matches in plus their section match, so they had 8 matches. They like you said, they started late. They didn't have enough participants. We had a meeting. We got enough participants, and then they had to get their practices back in, and then it's just a whole thing. But they had their banquet last night. I saw on Facebook, and they had honored some kids and everything, and they had a good season. So,
yeah, very, very good season.
How many? 15 per team? You have to have 15 kids at least. It's kind of like
that's what I don't know. I've never seen anything written anywhere, but they
nothing in stone.
Right, but they would like to have. They say like the starting and then half. So like if you have 11 people, they'd like to have 16 maybe. But what I think they had seven. I think they ended up with 16 or 17 kids this year.
Okay.
But they only had like 12 when it first started, or 11 or something like that. So,
Gotcha.
Well, the hope is that you can get some more kids out from the middle school coming up, and maybe some other kids who, again, if you're not doing anything, look into it. Look into sports, guys. It's a lot of fun. It's great extracurricular activities. Good for exercise. Good to have fun with your friends and your classmates. And we're always looking to advance sports at Roane County High School the best we can. Well, obviously, we want to compete. And we're really, really excited when we do compete. But even if we don't, it's always fun to watch the kids perform and watch the kids practice hard as they can to get them things done. We'll hold off on football, obviously, until Coach Burdett gets here. Let's transition. Toby, it's now winter sports season. Everything's underway, correct? All the practices?
yeah, girls started last week, and then basketball, and then boys basketball started this week, along with wrestling. So that's all of our 3 winter sports. They're all up and rolling.
And there's a big thing going on this coming Monday night for basketball, correct?
And I'd like to thank Shandy White for organizing that. She's organized a meet the team, and it's not just meet her team, it's meet all the county teams, basketball, boys and girls, all 3 middle schools, and both the high school team.
And we will be there at 6 p.m. We'll be doing a live remote. We'll just be talking to whoever we can talk to. It doesn't really matter to us. And we'll hopefully get a chance to talk to some of the coaches, obviously. Oh, yeah, Tobe, there's no way on this earth that Coach Burdett is sitting on that side. He is going to this remote, or this
I'll
one.
sit wherever you want me to.
Yeah, now that the season's over, it's all... Now that the season's over, all is well and good. But Coach Brett's quite OCD, as am I, and we just cannot do. I will now admit, now that the season is concluded, that there was the Mingo Central game. On Wednesday night, we had our show. And so after the show, obviously, we go out and we just hang out and we talk off the air about whatever, and get ourselves ready. And then we go outside and we get ready to say our goodbyes, right? Well, last year, unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize this, but at last year, every time before Coach Burdett got in his vehicle, I always went over and I shook his hand, said, "We'll see you Friday night." I didn't realize that I had done that. Well, I didn't do it the first night, the first broadcast this year on Wednesday. Well, then I went to do it the next Wednesday, and he said, no, we didn't shake hands last week, so we're not shaking hands the rest of the year. So Wednesday of Mingo Central, we're hanging out in here still, and this may negate it, but we're hanging out in the studio still, or in the main room there, and I shook Coach Burdett's hand inside, and then we took off. And I was scared to death that if we lost against Mingo Central, it was going to be on me, my fault.
Shut out.
We shut him out instead.
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything to him. I hope he didn't remember or notice or think about it. He didn't I didn't shake his hand, and he was like, "What did you just do? You ruined everything."
Whoa. No, shut up.
Yeah.
However, it did rain and it was cold, so...
Yeah, it was close. Had I shaken his hand, no. I think had I tried to shake your hand, Coach, outside, it would have registered and you'd have said no.
Probably. He would have pushed you down in the gravel.
Get out of my face. Toby, you're on the field some when I go down there to do the coaches interview. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I will run away from Coach Burdett. I will avoid him like the plague until Raider Jacks are finished. And even he didn't get it one time. They weren't even done with Raider Jacks, and he was walking over towards me, and I just started backing away from him and looking away from him and backing away and looking away. He finally got it, and so he turned around and stopped, and then they did Raider Jacks, and he turned around and came back to me. It is that serious, Coach Burdett. That is that serious between you and I.
Yeah. That one left my mind. I did my thing, and I'm walking back to Drew, and he turns to walk away from me, and I thought, What's this guy doing? And so I kept going. He turned and he seen I kept coming, and he kept walking. And I thought, what is going on? And then I realized we hadn't done our jumping jacks yet. So I turned around, walked back to the end zone, stood and waited for the jumping jacks to be done. And then I went and done the interview.
So those of you out there listening in, when you come to a game next Friday night, watch for the interaction between myself and Coach Burdett in pregame. And again, if I'm there early and he comes out of the locker room and I'm walking, I will not even look at him. I will not address him.
I know.
I do not speak to him, and I barely, if I can avoid it, I don't make eye contact until Raider Jacks are done and I'm on the field.
Yeah, I know, trust me, because week 1 of the season, I'm like, hey, let's go to Route 33, grab some dinner before we go up to the game and broadcast. And of course, Drew's running late.
What?
You guys know that about Drew?
No.
He's always on time for the interview.
He runs late sometimes.
Huh. Interesting.
So, anyways, Matt and Katie met up. We're sitting there, and of course, we get a message from Drew. Oh, I can't. My hair's on fire. Anyways, so the next week, I'm like, hey, another home game. Let's go eat. Or no. It would have been second week. So we had plenty of home games back to back. Nope, can't do it. Wasn't there the first time. I'm like, come on, man.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I didn't get to eat there.
Next year, I'm dragged. Like
Let me guess.
We're going to 2.
He went 8 before North Marion.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
He was.
I was not there. I missed all year, and we were 90%. Okay? So it's...
That was the curse.
We have many curses.
The curse of Oak Island.
Before...
That's what it's actually.
Were you there for did you hear the conversation about the curse of Oak Island? Are you a fan?
I don't watch it.
Listen, you're in the off season now, okay? Let's revisit this next season. You've got 11 seasons to catch up on.
I have watched it, but it's hard for me to watch things that are made up. That's not real stuff.
Come on,
they're making stuff up as they go. It's all for entertainment. I like real stuff like Yellowstone.
Oh, you mean TV? It's TV.
That stuff's real.
It's TV and movie stuff.
Well, Oak Island is completely made up.
Yeah.
Not like Yellowstone. I mean, that stuff is filmed on site as it's happening by a bunch of cowboys.
You guys are so wrong.
You know what I mean?
So, Toby.
That and the real stuff would be hunting. Now, that's real stuff.
Okay.
Watch it.
Well, I'll give you that. That stuff's fun to watch.
And 2.5 Men. That's real. Like for Charlie Sheen.
Toby, off the top of your dome here real quick. First games and first match for Lady Raiders, Raider boys team, and wrestling team. Go.
Yes. Catch on fire.
I got 2 out of 3.
Scrimmage or game?
Game.
I want to say the 29th for the girls. Is that right?
Really? That's early.
Not really. It's for 3 or 4
Feels
weeks.
early. Feels early.
Yeah, they started the first week of November, right?
December the 4th for the boys?
I thought the boys played on a Saturday.
They do, but they open up against Webster, but it's December the 4th, I think.
December 4th is not a Saturday.
No, Saturday.
That would be
December
a Monday.
2nd. December 2nd, because wrestling, we are at Point Pleasant.
The boys were supposed to scrimmage on December 1st.
But they are not.
They're not.
Okay.
Oh, that's what it was. They were supposed to scrimmage
Probably the first.
December the 1st, and then that's right.
Okay.
But that's canceled.
Coach White tuning in. She says, our first game, November 29th at home against Worth County. Good job, Toad. Off the top of your head there.
Know what I mean?
So Worth County at home on the 29th will be our first broadcast of the season for winter sports. And then the boys team scheduled for the first will not have that scrimmage, correct? Okay.
Scrimmage at Lincoln County, but that's not happening.
Ooh, thank goodness.
I think it's December the 4th.
So December 4th, we think. Toby's going to look. And wrestling at Point Pleasant in a quad on the 2nd.
Yeah, a pretty tasty quad.
Yeah.
You better be right.
Point Pleasant, Independence, and Oak Glen.
Yes.
So if you follow wrestling in the state of West Virginia, or have for the past, let's say, 40 years now, you are looking at 3 of the elite programs in Class AA. They have won a combined, and you go back to the run from Oak Glen, it was Oak Glen for 13 years, Independence for 12 years, Point Pleasant for whatever. It's those 3 teams have won every single one of them.
Yeah, for the last 50 years.
For the last 40 or 50 years.
Yep.
And Roane County said, whatevs.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's go get some.
Fairmont Senior is going to be a big. Their program has been really good in AA, but they're going to be AAA, I believe, and we'll still be AA. I believe after this season, right?
What?
I can fly.
Woo. Well, but AAA will compete with quad, and then single and double will still compete wrestling-wise. So we're not going to change that, right?
I don't think so.
It's not going to be like individual classes or anything.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So Fairmont Senior is going to be. They won it last year.
I was way
Fairmont
off
Senior
on the
won
boys.
something in the state.
Yeah, they won.
I was way off on the boys.
Okay.
The 12th.
The 12th. Okay, so the 12th. What is the game? Where? Who?
Webster.
It's Webster at home.
Okay, so both teams begin their seasons at
And then
home.
the 16th is Saturday. Independence at home.
Okay. So the boys team begins their season officially on the 12th, home versus Webster County. The girls, again, a couple weeks earlier than that, and we'll get things rolling on WVRC with Winter Sports. Okay, cool. All right, so a chance to watch the Lady Raiders 2023 version on Tuesday. And again, don't forget Monday, kind of a meet the teams. And again, it's meet all the teams at 6 p.m. at Roane County High School, correct, Toby? And it is boys team, girls team at the high school level, and then all the middle schools coming up as well. That's going to be a big event.
Should be a big event. Should be fun.
Yeah, going to be a good time. We'll be there with just live coverage.
Oh, it's like icing on the cake.
Oh, I'm telling you. We'll have people come up, talk to us about their programs. It'll be easy for me because I'll be just pulling coaches up, and hope you're there, Toby, because I'd like to discuss further with you.
The wrestling team's not right.
Yeah, Coach White.
I'm joking.
I think
John Penn wants to know why the wrestling team wasn't invited to this.
Coach Jarvis should go anyway. He loves talking on the radio.
He is a man of many words. In a text message, especially.
So winter sports is just around the corner, and we are ready to roll with winter sports. We're going to talk about the football season here with Coach Burnett, who I'm so happy he showed up, because the only text I said I got today was, and I was like, I don't know if he's going to be here.
I was in a tree stand.
You can't bother him in a tree stand.
True. Understandable. He had to go very quick with it.
I'm guessing his battery died on a spotlight. That's why he's here.
I promise you that had I stuck the guy I was after,
he would not be here.
Made it.
You'd be knee deep in deer guts right now.
That's what you call Brogan and say, hey, finish this up.
Well, that was the other issue.
Oh, he was at practice.
I was supposed to pick Brogan up from practice because Angie and Lexi were in Clendenin for softball stuff. But
What? It's not softball season.
well,
It's always. Break the take. We'll come back. We'll talk with Coach Burnett here in just a second.
Since 2019, DW Excavating has been serving Roane and surrounding counties. We offer services including, but not limited to, repairing driveways, construction site preparation, drainage solutions, property brush clearing, farm road construction, culvert repair and installation, and utility line installation and repair. We provide free estimates. Check out our Facebook page or contact us at 304-532-2968 for more information. DW Excavating, taking pride in our work and in our community. DW Excavating is a proud supporter of all Roane County High School athletics. Go Raiders!
Always fun. I wonder what people think we're talking about when we're on a break, because they can see the three of you. They can't hear anything that's being said. Yeah, we're going to go back to that. I'm telling you.
Bobby Dazzler.
You just got to get involved in it, and I'm telling you, you'll get hooked.
Is that the same night as The Voice? I don't know if I.
I don't know about that.
It's possible,
What about
Toby.
what about the I know there's a
The Masked Singer.
Yes.
Oh,
What
yeah.
about that?
Oh, The Masked Singer.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. We've watched some of it, then I fall asleep.
Yeah, it's so neat that he can't stay awake.
Well, he is an early bit to bed early riser.
Well, I don't know.
There's a good
about
country
that.
song that says that.
During football season, that is false.
Let's talk about football, Coach. Obviously didn't end the season quite as well as you would like to. That was an Independence team that was probably one of the hottest teams coming into the postseason. They'd pitched 4 shutouts. They'd put up about 50 a game. They were riding high. They played great. They played high level. And just one of those things that happens in sports, happens in football from time to time. A team gets on top of another team, and before you know it, it's just like a domino effect. You can't get out of it, and maybe a little quicksand action. You guys fought till the end, and that game notwithstanding, obviously, what a season it was for you guys once again. Let's take a look at some of the highlights to this. You guys, you win your first 8 games. You extend the streak of regular season victories to 20 games. That is something really fun to see when you're just used to winning, and people just get used to winning around the community as well. On top of that, first ever number 1 ranking for you guys as well. Just the 3rd ever first-round playoff game that you guys hosted. You have another, and this is 3 years in a row, another 1,000-yard rusher on your season. A lot of things to be really happy about.
Yeah, it was a great season altogether. Take away last Friday night. We'll talk about it for a second before we go on, I guess. But, yeah, Independence was a good football team without a doubt. We knew that. But, turnovers really played the biggest part in that game for us on the negative side. And you take the opening drive and you get to a 4th and short, and I'm going to go for it. I had no reason not to believe that we couldn't get it.
We've done that and been successful more often than not.
For the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And these guys had proven that they could do it, and Independence was able to stop it, and they get a score, and then we get the ball back, and we punt, and they muff it, and we get it, and then we're set up in great territory, and we get to a 4th and short again, and Lane gets the first down by 2 or 3 yards, and then I don't know what happens in the scrum, and whether he's down or not down, but when the smoke cleared, Independence had the ball, and that's what the referees called, and that really hurt us momentum-wise. I think if you go down and you tie it up right there, and we were going to be 1st and 10 from the 12, so you got basically 8 downs to score if you get the first down. And, I think it's a new outlook on the game. You don't get down by 21 points. But either way, we get down by 21, and we start battling back, and it's 21-7, and then they score, make it 28-7, and we score again, and we get the onside kick, and we end up with another turnover. And like I said, turnovers were the difference. And
it's tough to beat anybody with 5 turnovers. It's very, very difficult in the first round of a playoff game to beat a team like that with that many turnovers.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, to be honest with you. And hats off to Independence. They had a great scheme and took away our what we want to do the most, and that's just power football. And but we had the ability to pass, and we Jake threw for well over 100 yards Friday night. And
I think we had him unofficial for 173 on the night.
Missed 1,000 yards by about 23. I think it was 23 yards. But when it's all said and done, it's a great season, and you go 9-1 the regular season, and you get to 20. The 20-game winning streak in the regular season, and I didn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even realize that was going on because you just get caught up in it. You don't see that part of it, and then somebody had mentioned at a radio show.
Oh.
And so the pressure then was on, and you mentioned it at 16.
Oh, man. I'm getting uncomfortable right now.
And so I look at the schedule because that's what you do at that point, and I see that number 20 is Mingo. And I thought, well, it's going to suck to get to 19 and not get 20. The chance.
And then I shook his hand inside and changed it all.
Exclamation point 20.
Yeah, exclamation point. And I promise you that was the furthest thing from my mind when we went down there. But
thank goodness.
Yeah, it was awesome. You get to 20 wins in a row, which obviously that's never happened at Rowan County High School. But
What about 20 losses in a row?
That, I believe, has happened, or pretty close.
I think there was 24.
I was a part of 13 in a row. I do know that. That was with a bunch of pups, and they played their butts off, and that's just the way it went. But the pups also got the win to end it. So,
yeah.
Looking back, man, it was a great season, and really, I think, in the end, from somebody on the outside looking in, I think they would say we overachieved. And I say that because you lost 9 seniors off of a 10-0 team last year.
Yeah.
And you come back in and you return some starters, but you only return 2 on the offensive line, and you got to make a lot of stuff up there. You got to fill 2 spots in the backfield.
2,000-yard rushers.
Yeah, 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
And you had to plug a lot of new guys on defense. So, yeah, I think it's a very successful season to be 9-1 when probably some people didn't write us off to even come close to that. So, I'm very happy with what we did. Obviously, I wanted to win last Friday night. I did not want to deer hunt this week. I wanted to be at practice.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and I'm very proud of our guys. And again, like you said, we had another 1,000-yard rusher. Brandon Richardson had a great year running the ball, and then you throw Lane Watson into that, who had 600-some yards rushing, 400-some yards receiving. Lane had a great year in his own right. And then, like I said earlier, Jacob Greathouse, who, as a freshman, we really tried to take the heat off of him and just let him basically feed the guys that were going to get the job done and just kind of run the show out there as a freshman quarterback. And he did a great job of it, going 11-1. And then he comes back in this year, and we talked about it at the beginning of the year, and of course I told Jacob way before that, I had more expectations for him this year, and he lived up to that by, like I said, passing for almost 1,000 yards this year, which hasn't been done for a long time. And we had several interceptions Friday night, but I want to give a hats off to Jacob because he went down with a very, very bad sprained ankle.
Yeah, early.
Towards the end of the first quarter. And we were not able to get him back on the defensive side of the ball, but he toughed it out and went back in and ran the offense, and his ability to run or scramble was not there, and there was some things in the game plan that took away.
Yeah.
And our offensive line, let's talk about those guys for a minute. I mean, you return 2 starters and you plug 2 sophomores and a junior in there, and those guys blocked for almost 3,000 yards worth of rushing and almost 1,000 yards worth of passing, and that's enough to say about them in itself. And you flip around defense where you got all new linebackers, you basically got a new secondary, you basically got a new defensive line, and they only allowed a little over 18 points a game, I think, in the end. So
yeah,
successful guys. I don't care what happened Friday night. I do care, but put that aside and look at what the work that these guys did and the effort that they had to give to make that happen. I think it's pretty phenomenal. And we all, when you win 20 in a row, when you go to the second round of playoffs for 2 years in a row, that's the mindset you got. And when you don't get there, a lot of people think, wow, it was not a successful season. But you can't look at it that way. What these young kids did was pretty successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. What a special group of kids this is. And, again, we've spoken numerous times off the air. The cupboard is full. It is the opposite of bare. You're going to lose 4 really tremendous seniors, and those guys obviously have put their mark on this program. Of course, Brandon Richardson with 1,000 yards this year, but even with 1,000 yards, his impact to me still was more important defensively, the way he could cover, the way he could get up front and blitz, the way he could do so many things. He got downhill fast. And again, to get him for a couple of years of his career was really, really nice to have. Jacob Bunner, a 4-year starter. That guy on offense and defense just continued to improve, get better and better every single year, wreaked havoc throughout the season defensively. And then the other two that I'm so happy for them. I'm so proud of them. Andy Jetton, who'd been one of those kids who came in from Florida, and his body was just a little behind as well for a little bit. He was in the defensive backfield, and it looked like that's where he was going to be for a bit. And then there was a big opening, a big need at defensive end. He was able to change his body style enough, got himself prepared to play some defensive end, and I thought had a tremendous senior season as a defensive player for Roane County. And then you look at Sawyer Hunt, and I know you've talked about that kid a lot. And we talked about him in the preseason. You said, here's a kid that you better watch for because he has finally gotten caught up with his body. He has put in so much work to get to this point, and he was a difference maker on both sides of the ball this season. So happy for that young man that he finally got to see the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, with Jacob and Brandon, I mean, those are two guys that have been established as two-way starters, and they had great seasons. Obviously Jacob done a great job on the offensive and defensive lines, but numerous tackles for losses from the defensive tackle position. And then Brandon, the offensive side, he did what you expect him to do, but the defensive side is something that for us we've never had, and it'll be tough to have again. Is just the way that he's able to come downhill from the safety position and make tackles in the box or behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And that, if you look across the state of West Virginia, you'd be hard-pressed to find another safety that does it the way that he did it. You don't see it.
Just don't.
And so it definitely a standout on both sides, but especially on defense. I'll talk about Saul last with Andy. Andy was playing corner at the beginning of the summer, and it was hard to try to find another defensive end unless we were going to go really, really young, and that's a tough position to be young in. I mean, they would have grown up eventually and been able to do a good job, but to be able to move Andy down there and have a solid defensive end, and he was really built for it. His body really morphed from about halfway through his junior year to his senior year, and that's with him and the hard work that he put in. But he was able to come down there and play that defensive end position and be very solid for us there. And then Sawyer, guys, I've said it all year. In 13 years of coaching, and Saul was a starter last year on the defensive side of the ball in the secondary, but for 13 years as a head coach, Saul has by far been my most improved player from one year to the next. And not most improved as in he wasn't any good last year. He was a good player last year, but just leaps and bounds above what he was last year. And I can remember grabbing Saul in the weight room in the spring of his freshman year, and I told him, keep working, be patient. Your body's going to catch up, and when it does, you're going to be a heck of a football player. And here we are at the end of his senior year, and all that came true. Saul was an impact player for us on both sides of the ball. And, when Shea went down, we had to make some moves, and Saul moved into the backfield and done a tremendous job for us. And guys, he played split end, he played slot, he played tight, he played halfback, he played linebacker, he played a cover guy. He just did it all, and never once complained about anything, and it was always yes sir, and excited to go do the jobs that he was asked to do. So 4 great seniors, and they'll definitely be missed. Like you said, they made an impact on this program, and my gosh, guys, they were 19-1 as starters for their 2 years, their junior and senior year on the field. So
man,
very, very impressive.
A lot to come back, though, and obviously, as I mentioned, the cupboard far from bare. We've got a lot of talent coming back, a lot of skill guys, a lot of line guys. You're going to get Shea Harper back next year. Let's talk, Toby, real quick. What do you know, or do you know anything? I know there is the big fuss and the big wonder about what's going to happen next year as far as the seating is concerned, as far as the class system is going down. What do you know? Do you know the timeline of when things may be taking place as far as that's concerned? Have you heard anything?
No.
Still nothing?
Only thing I've seen is this, what it's called, Coalfield and Company or something like that.
Oh, the Coalfield and Company website?
On Facebook, and they posted, somehow they got the numbers, and they made their own prediction, and they split the classes up. But that's the only thing I've seen. I have not heard anything from the SSAC.
No idea on when it's going to happen?
I think you should make a page of predictions. see who's closer, you or the Coalfield.
You or Coalfields.
But even with Coalfields, I think they were going solely on number split.
Oh yeah.
They did not add in the proximity to a 10,000 populated city or the socioeconomic part of it.
Okay.
Which I think
we'll be seeing
that's like 30%. That's like 30% of the equation, I believe. I think 70% of it is numbers, and then the other 30% is that part of it. So,
well, just thinking about that, obviously we're going to a 4-class system. That is happening for next year, and although we don't know for certain, the thought is, and the idea is, that we're going to get, there's a possibility we're going to get a lot of those traditional LKC matchups back. There's a chance that we could get, instead of just the 3 teams in Class AA, we may have as many as 6 or 7 AA LKC teams. Now, as far as scheduling is concerned, that has to help a little bit, right?
It's going to help a lot, because we're getting a lot of our contracts are done next year.
Okay.
Which I think they've said the state's going to give you a year leniency because you got to finish up contracts and this, that, and the other. So we'll have a ton of openings on our schedule where we can drop those 3-hour, 2.5-hour, 4-hour
that we love trips so much, right?
We already dropped the 4-hour trip. It's over.
So you think? But
Toby's just dropping a bombshell on you here tonight.
In the week 5 and I don't week 6 and I don't know about it. Great.
But that's going to leave it a lot open for those schools to be able to come in and fill in, which will be much better if you look at maybe Ravenswood will come back, Williamstown.
Yeah, Coalfield says Ravenswood.
All right. Who else?
Williamstown.
Richie.
Tyler. They had Richie and singles.
Buffalo.
Now, I had heard some grumblings, Toby, about the possibility of a couple of teams from Putnam County maybe making a transition into an LKC conference. Is that something that's possible, or just someone just mentioning? I had heard Polka and Buffalo possibly.
We took in Wahama back, and South Harrison left and came back, so I don't see why we wouldn't look to expand. You say Polka and Buffalo, I'm not sure what conference Buffalo's in right now.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they're in one. I think it's an advantage to be in a conference because it gets your kids recognized a lot better for all state things, and of course your conference recognition, but just for recognition, and it makes it easier for scheduling and stuff like that. But Polk isn't, are they in the Cardinal right now? But a lot of the Cardinal looks like they can go AAA, so they might be looking to move maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think the conference would be against taking people in, and those are two programs that are usually
Yeah, when you think about that and you think about the Cardinal Conference, that may leave a couple of those AA teams kind of on the outside looking in. But if you're the LKC, the amount of teams that we have, number one, is a good idea. We have a lot of teams, but I think it will. I think it's going to help the Little Canal Conference in that balance that we lost over the years, in that all those teams dropping down to single A. I think we're going to get a balance back with single A and AA teams, and I think it's going to be a good thing net for the LKC.
Yes, I agree. I agree 100%. It's hard with just 3 schools, AA right now.
Yes,
Braxton and Clay.
And for other sports, obviously it's not. Well, I mean, the conference itself, like just for instance, volleyball, it doesn't matter. They're going to play each other. And in basketball, it doesn't matter as far as regular season. They'll play each other because single A versus AA doesn't really matter. But when you talk about football, it matters a lot when you have all those. You don't have any AA teams. And every year right now we're fighting it out, and we can't play single A teams. You just can't do it. Right. So it's an advantage, I think, for us scheduling, for you guys, old rivalries, matchups, closer games, all that stuff, I hope, is going to be much improved for the LKC conference.
Yeah, so make it much better. I mean, we lost Ravenswood and we played them for how many years?
Every year.
Every year except this.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to have. We can get them back.
Get them back. Looks like Poca will be one of those teams. Sissonsville will stay. If the Cardinal, ends up, going mostly AAA, then maybe we get Poca and Sissonsville and
who knows,
Buffalo and
you're looking at an hour and 15.
An hour and 15, yeah.
Travel time, an hour and a half max, instead of 4.
I'll take it.
Yeah, not that I've minded seeing these new places and going to new stadiums and fields, but again, the grind on the kids is definitely there. Those long trips, and it is very, very difficult, and it could be made easier coming up next year, and we're hoping for the absolute best. I wish that we had. I wish that we had better. For many reasons, Toby, and many things in my life, I wish we had better communication. Let's just say that. I wish more people could get information out, or were allowed to get information out. I wish that the SSAC, maybe they don't know anything, but I'm sure that they at least have some sort of. There is an end date to this. We know that this is when we're going to know things.
Well, and it's really cramping us because we're trying to get game. Football is now trying to schedule for next year or next 3 years or whatever,
Yeah.
If they at least know the numbers.
Yes.
Maybe not your section and region and all that stuff, but if they at least know where you're going to be, single A, double A, triple A, or quad A, you can start scheduling.
Yeah.
It makes it tough. So, yeah, you need to get the information out now would be good.
Well, I mean, it would be good, but I think maybe it's going to come after football championships, or maybe the weekend of, or the lead up to that. I don't know.
Well, I hope it's sooner than later, not only just because I'm interested and we're all interested, but for logistic purposes, right. It'd be nice to know.
Right. We've been pumped up about this for how many, since they started talking about, really doing that. It will be interesting.
Well, Coach, obviously you can't control any of that stuff. You can only control what you can control when it comes to football. But the idea behind this, the thought that it could possibly be closer games, old rivalries, good matchups, again, local matchups within an hour. That's got to be exciting for you, obviously, for travel purposes. And, again, for some of these old rivalries to come back, the LKC being stronger. And you guys are going to bring a pretty solid team back next year. And I know we just finished. I know it was just last Friday, but the excitement has already got to be there for next year.
Yeah, I told Jim Cooper in the paper, as sad as I am for us to be done this year, I'm just as excited for what's coming next year and, what the possibilities are. I mean, in 13 years as a head coach, I've never returned this many starters with this type of talent, and to be able to get Shea back is going to be a big deal. But to and we won't reap anything up from it yet next year with conference stuff, but after next year, you'll see a more normal LKC, which will put a little bit more legitimacy into, when it comes to conference picks and that type of stuff. I mean, it's just so hard when there's only 3 teams, and it's good when you win it.
Yeah.
Because you get more of a chance to get your guys recognized, and we've been very fortunate to do that here for the last 3 years. But I look forward to the LKC being what it used to be when we started, and of course the travel. I mean, you can get rid of some of these long trips. But when you look at the schedule next year, we've got to fill one spot right now, and 6 of, if it goes by what Coalfield says, which it won't, but if it's close to that, 6 of your 9 teams on your schedule next year are AAA. So it's just, and Coach Ford and I talked about that and knew that was a possibility, which it's okay. I mean, it's
got to play who you play.
That's who you got to play, So
it's not like just because they become AAA, they're a different team.
No. It's what you've been facing. Right. That's just what it is. But I'm excited. I mean, when this class were freshmen is when the basketball went to 4 classes.
Yeah.
And I can remember counting it up and going, well, the reclassification will be after their junior season, and it could hit really well for these guys if in fact that they have the success here that they've had at the lower levels, and we in fact have, and continue to look forward to that next year. So it could be really good. There'll still be a lot of good competition in AA. You go on game Williamstown, which everybody knows what Williamstown is. Looks like James Monroe will probably be in there. James Monroe's been on a hot streak.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly Greenbrier West, again, another team that's up and coming and doing very well in single A. But
Wheeling Central,
one
of those teams that you just year in and year out.
But we have established ourselves in the current AA as a pretty good football team, and so that'll just carry on into what we're doing, and we've got a lot of talent in our room right now. Not just our juniors, obviously our sophomores. We got a starting quarterback and 2 starting linemen that are sophomores. And then your freshman class, I'm very impressed with what our freshman class did this year as young guys. Our JV only played 3 JV games, but we're undefeated in those 3 games, and also was undefeated in 3 quarters against the varsity team. So
yeah.
And a couple of those guys played some roles on Friday nights, and so very excited. The future is bright and is full of excitement, I think, and everybody needs a little bit of a break, and that was kind of our talk Monday when their seniors left. And I know I got guys going to wrestling and the basketball, and I wish them the best, and I told them to use those sports to make themselves better athletes.
Yes.
Not just better football players, but better athletes. And when that sport's over and there's not a spring sport, then get your butt in the weight room. Or if you don't have a winter sport, get your butt in the weight room. We'll start in the weight room on January the 8th. That's the first full week after Christmas break at school. So that'll be the kickoff, and reset the clock Friday night after the game. And it's Monday. I think it was 293 days to Shady Springs. So there'll be a lot of work and a lot of time and sacrifice put in those 290-some days. It'll be about 260-some, 250, 245 when it gets back to the weight room.
Yeah.
I'm excited, and I think they're excited. I followed Clay Walker to the hospital today. I'm sure he was going to lift. So yesterday. So
yeah, we got some inside sources there. A couple of those guys already going at it. And again, that was going to be my next question. So what's next for the program? Obviously, some time off for especially the coaching staff. Again, people who don't know the ins and outs of coaching any sport, but specifically football, it is a year-round job, and time away from family, time away from your wives and things like that, and just time when there's always something that's got to be done. And again, we talked with you about it. You've been especially busy over the last couple of years with doing North-South as an assistant and then North-South as a head coach. You also helped out with the flag football group that last year. So, as much as you wanted to continue, now that it is over, a much-needed rest just for you to reset and regroup and kind of refresh the batteries as well as the rest of the coaching staff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a grind, man. It really is, and the last 2 years, like you said, have been especially full with everything. You go to North-South as an assistant, and that was great, and I had a wonderful time. And we come right back and didn't miss a day, and went right back in with our guys and went on our run last year, and we hadn't been done for 2 weeks probably, and I saw this thing about the flag football, and I didn't mention it because Brogan had been playing baseball, and then sometime during basketball season he said, I don't know if I want to play baseball, and I said, well, we're not going to just sit around. We do have this. And so we started organizing and putting things together, and that was December, and we started practicing flag football in January, at the end of January, and we practiced flag football till first week of March, and then we played every Sunday but one from the first weekend in March until May the 21st, when we miraculously won the Super Bowl with a great group of kids, and I wanted to do that because I don't get a chance to be with those guys, and those all of them. Brogan's all close with all of them, and they're a great group of kids, and they wanted to play, and so we went out and played, and we had a great time, and we won. And but when that was over, and during that time, I'm fighting North-South, and it really got it goes clear May 21st. We went to North-South like June 3rd or something, and so then you go coach North-South, and again, a tremendous week, great time, but it was more than a week, I promise. It was all spring, trying to get kids committed and paperwork done and all that done, and we come back and went right back into our season, and there's a lot of time, a lot of effort put into it. Our guys have to be dedicated, fellas. While everybody else is doing their deal in the summer, our guys are ready to go to work at 7 o'clock every morning from Monday to Thursday. And then most of the times in June and now July, you have some type of event on the weekend, whether it be 7-on-7 or a big man in there. And, so there's a lot of people, not just the coaches, but a lot of parents, a lot of kids have got to be dedicated and committed to what we're doing for it to work out and to have the success that we've been able to have. It don't just happen by chance. It happens because of a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice put in by a lot of people to make that happen. And I'm proud. I'm proud of the program. And I'm proud of our kids, our parents, and I'm proud of our community for the amount of support that we've been shown over the last couple of years, and I look forward to continuing it next year. But we're going to take a little bit of a break.
Definitely ready for a break.
We're going to relax for a while and be a family. I lose a lot of time with these guys.
Yeah.
And my wife makes it work. And I posted a thing on Facebook the other day about being a head coach and what it takes to be a successful head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3 on there was a supportive spouse. She's just involved in it as I am.
She's a mom to all these kids.
and she loves them, and she takes care of them, and I don't have to worry about any of the food, any Thursday night meals, any summertime stuff. She's right there, and she takes care of that. So she's just as much part of it as I am, and I've been lucky enough to raise my kids up in it.
Yeah.
And they're just as entangled in it as I am. Macy, when she can't come in, she sits in her apartment at WVU and screams at the TV while we're playing. She's a little bit crazy about it, but she can't help it. That's the way she's been raised. So, but I appreciate my coaches and their significant others, allowing them to put the time and effort in that they do. There's a lot of expectation from me on what we're going to do. We'll start having coaches meetings in January.
Yep.
And start all over again. And the weight room, I mean, that's 2 hours a day for 3 days out of the week until April, and then it goes to 4.
Yep.
So very fortunate to have people around me that understand and get it and want to do it as much as I do. So
one of the things that John and I were talking about, when you talked about, the constant and the 2 years of north-south, John said that comes with the success of the program. And I thought that was very important to think about. I thought, yeah, he's exhausted, John, and there's a reason behind it because we've been so successful.
Right. Yeah, when you're successful, of course, folks are going to want you to lead their teams and want you to be that because they've seen what you brought. You were able to win the North-South game as a head coach with a lot of our guys being there, which is awesome. But yeah, it's a grind, and being involved and being a coach up there for a couple of years, I seen what it took, and I understood, and it's a definite grind, but well worth it, especially when you had this success.
Well worth it in the end. Well, again, a great season, Coach. Congratulations on another great one. And again, that's why there's so much excitement still right now, and I think that the community knows it, and we're going to continue to talk about it over the next 6-7 months. And right when we get set for another season next year, I don't want to wish my life away, but I think that community excitement is going to be right back there, knowing what's coming back next year. I know that you guys said much-deserved time off here January 8th. Any ideas yet on a banquet for football? I know that's a big deal, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of prep for that too.
I'll start looking at banquet dates when we get back from Thanksgiving. It's going to take a massive coordination this year. I gotta get schedules for middle school basketball. I gotta get schedules for high school basketball. And I got to make sure that everything coordinates together and find an open date that works.
Toby, you're big on that, man.
Get right on it. So we'll get it figured out, and when we do, we'll put it out there, and we'll have a good banquet as we always do. But I don't want to let it linger too long. But at the same time, it's got to be the right date for everybody, and you got to have enough time to get your stuff ordered, get your things in. So
sometimes very difficult to do.
One thing before we finish up here, Coach Burdett and I were going through the AA playoff program, and he said, look at that team. And he counted, I think he counted like 11 or 12 coaches on that team. So we said, go back to the beginning of the 16 teams.
Yeah.
Count every team and every coach is on the team. And we have 6.
Yeah.
6. And there was one other team in the 16-team playoff field that had 6.
Really?
Everybody else had 7 or
many more. And that's a testament to them. And I'm telling you, it's not football, but we have one soccer coach. We have one cross-country coach. Yeah.
We have one golf coach. We have 2 volleyball coaches.
Yep.
And many schools that I've seen have 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah.
You can just go on. And what these guys do with our kids, and what everybody does with our kids, we're very fortunate in Rowan County. And thank you, Coach Burdett, and thank you all.
Toby has mentioned that numerous times before. He is great to thank everybody who steps up and runs a program, because you were a coach for many years, Toby. You know how hard it is. You know the extra time it takes to run a successful program. You know how many moving parts it takes and how many people, and it would be great. It would be great to be able to afford a 12, 13-man crew. It would be really nice in some of these sports to get 3 or 4 or 5 coaches, but you just get with what you can get, and we've got really dedicated coaches around here, and it's so wonderful to have that. And I'm loving that we've got the community now really getting excited about this again. That's something that I remember, and it's something that we've been speaking of for years now. John and I have been talking about it, going back to the feeling that we had back in 90 and 91, and I feel it again, and it's so fun to go around and talk to people. Everybody wants to know about it. Everybody wants to talk about it, and that's huge.
Next question is, can we pipe some of the Armacell smoke into the...
Yeah, can we get some of that old smell from Armacell?
You need it. I think that might be the trick.
That's what was missing.
Can we pipe some
Just
of
a
that
little
in?
bit of Armacell smoke.
Let me get a hold of Eric Hoshes and see what we can do.
Just run a pipe from here to the. We can mount it on the scoreboard and just send it out to the field.
Can he bottle it up?
The smell of that and popcorn and Granville Lance's voice.
Oh, man. Oh, the memories.
That's just yeah.
Gosh, the memories.
78 kids playing a game of pickup football down by the
Which the 3 of us were involved, I'm
Scored quite
sure.
a few tutties there.
Yeah, just in case, Brogan, if your dad ever yells at you for playing football on the side, just say, "What about you, Dad, back in the day?"
Here's the deal. They're never going to have the quality of a football field that we had. Now, of course, there were times where we had to watch Dodge cars because they were parked
Every Friday night, we dodged cars.
But, yeah, those are some of the best memories ever.
Well, guys, I appreciate you joining, of course, tonight. And Coach Burdett, thank you again for, giving of your time. We know how precious your time is. This is the last time I'm going to bug you on a Wednesday. Until next year, I promise. You can go hang out in the deer stand, hang out with your family now, finally. And, Toby, thank you for coming in and giving us the updates for the upcoming winter sports and for highlighting all the fall sports. And, again, folks, we just have a great time here. We're glad that everybody could join us throughout the season. And we can't wait to do it again next year. We want to thank DW Excavating, of course, our sponsor for the Raider Review. John, I'll leave it up to you one more time. You get the final-ish word.
Final-ish word, look out for Raider football next year. Good luck to everybody in their fall and spring sports. Raider football is going to be exciting again. And get out here and support the winter athletes as well. And we appreciate everything that everybody does.
Hey,
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
There's no game next week, so I'm not going to let John have the last word.
Okay, cool.
I don't have to this week. Coach Ford talks about our coaches all the time. But without the guy leading it all, we would all be in shambles.
Yep.
So he needs a little bit of praise for what he does. Every day, every Friday, every basketball game, all that stuff's taken care of. And it's because of his hard work and his dedication to all of our athletes.
Absolutely.
That happens.
He's one of the best. Toby Ford, our athletic director, of
Not
course.
one.
Probably the best.
The best.
I got to tell you, I had a week and a half stint at it.
It was a good
So
run.
you know.
I was trying to do it and coach football, and my phone was wearing me out, and I said, I cannot coach football and do this too. I cannot do it.
When I heard that, I was like,
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Well, yeah, it was a bad idea. Promise. But he deserves a lot of praise.
Absolutely.
And a lot of appreciation.
absolutely.
You certainly get plenty of slings and arrows, Toby Ford, so here's the appreciation for you. Thank you so much for what you do as well for all these programs. Folks, it's been another great season. here on Wednesday nights for the Raider Review. Again, don't forget, the 29th of November, Lady Raiders hosting Work County. On the 12th of December, Roane County Boys hosting Webster. On the 2nd of December, the Raider wrestling team will head to Point Pleasant. Those are the upcoming schedules for the winter sports. Don't forget, we'll be on with basketball and wrestling throughout the winter. We appreciate everyone having joined us for the Raider Review throughout the season. We'll be back next August with another season on Wednesday nights.
Since 2019, DW Excavating has been serving Roane and surrounding counties.